Moxley is the Ringo Starr of the Shield. Probably always will be.
The following announcement has been paid for by the Put Me Over podcast.
Hello, guys. Byron here, aka the Pinoy Powerhouse, aka the Handsomest Man Alive, aka Pogi Pinoy 626. I'm here to discuss the top 10 wrestlers of 2020 according to Sports Illustrated. I know there's a lot of different opinions on it. Me and the boys have, texted vehemently to kind of weigh in on our opinions. And obviously, top 10 lists are always subjective. Everyone has opinions, but this one is just totally out of whack. There's so many names on here that don't make any sense. What the hell? Let's just a quick refresher. Let's take a look at the list again. Number 1, we had Sasha Banks. Number 2, we had Jon Moxley, jobber. Number 3, we had Drew McIntyre. Number 4, we had Naito. Number 5, we had Kenny Omegs. Number 6, we had Bayley. Number 7, we had Io Shirai. Number 8, we had Kota Ibushi. Number 9, we had Roman Reigns. And number 10, we had Eddie Kingston. I mean, there's so many. Before we get started, too, let me just show you my list. As you can see, what I have on my list, here's the Handsomest Man Alive's top 10 of 2020. We have Roman Reigns. At number 2, we have Bayley. At number 3, we have Drew McIntyre. At number 4, we have Sasha Banks. At number 5, we have Naito. At number 6, we have Omega. 7, Io Shirai. 8, Randy Orton. 9, Adam Cole. Number 10, we had Jon Moxley, but I just switched it to Kota Ibushi as my number 10 wrestler. Jon Moxley, which was really hard for me to put him on the list, but he was AEW champion for so long. I could see Sports Illustrated put him at the number 2, which is a crock of shit. Out of the Shield, he's the Ringo Starr of the Shield. There's no way he should be that high ever. Granted, he was the AEW champion. When I think of the past 2020, I didn't think of, oh shit, Jon Moxley had a crazy run. Or, dude, do you remember Jon Moxley's match versus whomever? Nah. On Sports Illustrated, they had Eddie Kingston. When I first read this, I told the guys when I saw the name Kingston, I was like, oh, that's cool. I guess they wanted to give Kofi a couple more props for his great run. And, he's still doing good work now as a tag team. But it said Eddie Kingston. I think Bobby said something to me like, these guys probably just watched wrestling over the last 3 or 4 months and picked out any headline, and they might have saw Eddie Kingston's name on accident. Eddie Kingston's a freaking, much respect to the guy. He's great. He's like Sandman and Jace, but he's not a top 10 wrestler of 2020. He's great. He's great. Trust me, I'm not disrespecting, but to say top 10 wrestler of 2020, no, there's no way. I have a hard time believing he's ahead of Randy Orton, Adam Cole. Who else is he ahead of? He's ahead of, dude, this list it's always hard to make a top 10 list without Okada too, because he's such a consistent performer. It's really hard to leave off Okada, because honestly, he's a top 3 wrestler ever. In the world. Dude, even leaving off AJ, there's no way you put Eddie Kingston over AJ. And AJ's arguably should be on this list too. Even Seth. Seth wasn't I guess it really just depends on what qualifications you're looking for when it comes to a list. But, Seth, to me, had a better year than Moxley. He was more entertaining. And again, to have Moxley as the number 1, by this list, as the number 1 male wrestler is a crock of shit, I guess. I'm gonna say this. Everybody knows I'm a WWE mark. I love it. Whatever. And but AEW is still not the biggest wrestling organization in the world. To be the number 1 male wrestler in the world, I think you have to be in WWE or have a ridiculous year, or consistency that like an Okada has in NJPW or something. And Jon Moxley is great, but he's upper mid-card to me. Again, I think he's by far the Ringo Starr of the Shield, and I'll emphasize that. The other two guys are fantastic. Roman Reigns at number 9 is insane. Sure, the big argument everyone's gonna have is that he was gone for most of the year, but when you think of 2020 and the great storylines, or to me, Roman Reigns saved the wrestling year amidst like having no fans, everyone was getting a little bit fatigued of wrestling. It was really hard to watch because there was no fans. It was really hard to come by. But there's no way anyone had a bigger impact on wrestling, other than maybe Bayley in the year of 2020, than Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the best thing in wrestling and probably will be for the next year or so. And I'm really curious to see what they do with him. But to have him at number 9, to have the likes of Moxley and Omega, who barely got the title late and he was squandering a tag team, mediocrity throughout the whole year. Yes, again, whatever. Kenny Omega I put him number 6 on my list, as I think he belongs there. He's fine, maybe even higher. But again, it's ever since he's been in AEW, it's been kind of lackluster, and I hope he has a good 2021. Io Shirai arguably should be a top 5. Andrew said, she never really has a bad match ever. She's held that strap and kind of been the torchbearer for NXT and the NXT Women's Division. Well, yeah, just NXT, I guess. Shout out to Delete Austin Woodruff. He's a big Drew McIntyre fan, and I'm happy his boy had a great year. I'm with Vic, believes Eddie Kingston should be a top 10. I'm like, nah, sorry, I'm with Vic. But yeah, let's see. Darby Allin, it would be. Jackson Riley says Darby Allin should have been on the list. I guess I would actually. You know what? I'd put him ahead of Mox even as far as impact or watchability. I'd rather watch a Darby Allin match or a Darby Allin promo over a Moxley promo. Asuka could be on the list. She's been fantastic. So yeah, this list is really hard to crack. Bayley could arguably be 1 for me. She was the longest reigning women's champion, I think, or she held the belt for over a year. There was a time when people used to say she was by far the weakest of the 4 horsewomen, and people were saying, oh my god, they book her so bad. The usual shitty complaint that people say they book NXT talent poorly, or just wait for it, dude. Now you got the 4 horsewomen. All of them, I think, are on the same equal playing field. Bayley and Sasha were also tag team champs. They had a great long feud. And along with Roman, I think Bayley really established herself during the quarantine era. They let her run her promos. She's arguably the best out of the 4 horsewomen right now. So yeah, that's a really tough act. Sasha, Bayley can kind of trade off of, but I think Bayley really carried the year overall, and obviously her in-ring work is pretty damn good. Alright guys, thanks for listening to me rant for a couple minutes about Sports Illustrated's top 10 wrestlers of 2020 list. Let us know. Please subscribe to our YouTube, Instagram, wherever you can listen to podcasts or watch podcasts. We're on it. So yeah guys, thanks again. See you guys soon. Before we start, here's